Hi everyone, Mr. Silbaugh here, and this is my recording for our keyboarding unit, and this is day one of this unit. This is for computer applications and business 2. All right, in computer applications and business 2, the focus on keyboarding now shifts from you learning the keyboard to you building speed, okay? These first few lessons are going to review the Computer 1 concepts and talk about some of the original standards in Computer 1, and we'll start with the basics. Some of you may have had Computer 1 already, where you learned some of the basics of typing and some of the finger placements, but in Computer 2, the focus now shifts to you building speed and becoming more accurate, okay? So our main standard here is that we're going to demonstrate speed building using techniques for numeric and symbol keyboarding. We're going to review all of the original keys, the home row, the top row, the bottom row, and the number row, but we're also going to talk about the symbols and how you type those. There's also a standard in here for number pad, and we'll talk about it, but if you don't have access to a number pad, that's okay. We'll talk about it and we'll figure that out later. So here's how I'm measuring you this unit. Labs K1 through K7, there's 7 labs. There'll be the practice speed building activity and the practice number pad keyboarding. On the other side of that, we have a mastery assignment. There's going to be a poster in K1 that you're going to do. Make sure you check that out. Quiz K, that'll be later in this unit. Mastery speed building and the mastery number pad keyboarding. Now, if you don't have access to the number pad and your computer or your tablet doesn't have a number pad, I have an alternative assignment to get you through that. All right, here is the schedule for you on this. Here we are, day one. We're going to review some of the Cab 1 stuff. Tomorrow, in the next lesson, we'll talk about home row keys, then top, bottom, and number. On Monday next week, there's no school. Then we'll talk about the symbols and the shift keys. Then we'll talk about the number pad, and then I'll give you time to practice. And then you'll have various practice assignments and number in using the number pads. And again, we'll talk about that as we get to it. Mastery speed building activity will be on Wednesday of the 3rd week, and Mastery number pad will be on the Thursday. These may combine into one, and then on the last Friday we have our quiz, and that will be the end of this unit. So about your keyboard, this is all a review. Your keyboard is in what's called the QWERTY layout. If you look at the top row of your keyboard, it spells out QWERTY. This was from the days of typewriters. It hasn't changed, and it probably won't change. There are different types of keyboard layouts. However, QWERTY is the most popular in the United States, and you'll see that. One of the other types is called the Dvorak, and if you're interested, you can feel free to look at that. So why do we study typing? Typing is an important skill if you go into business or any other profession. Some jobs actually you require a typing test before you actually take the job. Typing is a very useful skill, even if you're using your cell phone. It helps to know the placement of the letters so you can actually type faster and text faster. Once you build your speed, you'll know this keyboard for a long time, and I've been typing well over 10 years. And a lot of my students comment and remark about how fast I type. That's because I've practiced, okay? So what about NitroType? I know a lot of you guys all love NitroType. It's a good way to learn, and some of you have been using it for years. Make sure you enhance those skills. You can use NitroType. I do question the validity of it, meaning I question if the accuracy is actually correct. I use typing.com. That's the one that I'll test you on if you're in person. If you're not in person, you can use, we'll discuss how I'm going to have you submit your scores. Typingclub.com is also a good one, and any others that I find appropriate, I'll send them your way. All right, remember, not every typing website is accurate. Make sure you use with caution. All of my tests come from typing.com. So before we dive in and actually start typing, let's talk about ergonomics. Ergonomics is the act of typing correctly and making sure that you are safe when doing so. When you are typing, you want to make sure you sit up straight. Those of you who are virtual students, make sure that you find a nice, comfortable spot to sit. Sit in a chair. Don't sit in your bed. Don't lay in your bed. You want to actually sit up and practice good ergonomics. Make sure you're not hunched over. Your eyes are forward and facing the computer screen, and you want to make sure you keep your hands on the home row. You also should have some space between you and the computer, so you're not all up close to it. Some of the dangers of not typing properly, I know you may think, oh, typing accidents. It's more so than that. It's more about, keeping yourself safe and making sure that, your hands are working properly from years to come. As you get older, your body starts to have different aches and pains, and typing can kind of contribute to that. You may develop a hunchback, especially if you're on top of your computer screen. You may suffer pain in your back. You can, if you're slouched over, you may actually type worse and slow you down. Like, there's a lot of side effects to you not typing properly. And additionally, you can develop carpal tunnel from typing too much. This is more my problem, and I do have issues with this, is that when you're typing, you're using very small, repetitive movements, and that can actually cause your hands to kind of sort of lock up as you get older. A lot of these injuries are because of the fact you're doing the same functions over and over again. One of the most important things to do when you are typing is to take a break. If your hands start to get tired and start feeling numb and sore, we got a problem. Slow down, take a break, step away from your keyboard for a bit, and then come back to it, okay? Make sure you take the time to practice. Sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, eyes straight ahead, focusing on your screen. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're typing without looking at the screen, okay? That takes some practice, and you make sure your fingers rest on your keyboard. So some proper safety procedures, make sure you avoid your injuries, take breaks, take a rest, like don't, if you start feeling your hands are starting to get a little achy, take a break, okay? Be cautious of those around you. I know you all are virtual, but if you are typing or sitting at a table with someone, make sure you watch. Typing pretty much stays in the same spot, but you want to make sure that you have enough adequate space and you're not all like cramped together. Make sure you encourage others to use proper techniques. All right, your task now is to complete Lab K1. There's 2 parts. This one involves a little bit of independent research. In part 1, I'm asking you to complete everything in Schoology, and then part 2, you're going to make me a poster. Since you guys are all online, you can create it however you like. If you want to make it in Microsoft Word or Publisher, perfect. You can even create it in PowerPoint for all that. It doesn't matter to me. But you can also take a picture of it and submit it to me through Schoology, or you can email it to me. Make sure you answer all the questions and take some time to it. This is technically due today and technically your assignment for today. However, you have until the end of the unit. Currently, I'm looking at your labs being due on the 18th. That's when this unit will end. So you have until the 18th to turn everything in. Really, you should try and get part 1 done. If you don't get part 2 done today, that's totally fine. You have time to turn that in. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this lesson.